How's it going, folks? I am Doctor McFarland, and in this video, I will show you my custom layout that I have designed, and I think it's pretty flexible, so you let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe below and click the bell. So I'm technically doing this live. I am live right now. I may make it not live later and edit it down, but for now, we are technically live, and we're just going to rip right through it and see how it all turns out. So, with all that said, I'm going to go to my other scene, which is called the Fractal scene. And this is the FM9 edit. Okay? Now, I'm a huge believer that you need to know how to use the user interface, the UI, on the device itself and not have to rely solely on an editor all the stinking time. But while I'm sitting here at my desk, I don't have a camera over my FM9, so this is way easier for you to see exactly what I'm doing and all that stuff. So if you're not familiar with Fractal, then let me tell you what's going on here. So Fractal is a 9-buttoned foot switch device, and it has multiple different layouts. Okay, so check this out. So we have layout section right here. I'm actually in FC Edit. If I get out of FC Edit, if I click on the right thing, you can see this is my very simple signal chain from my input all the way to my output. And it has a compressor. It has 2 drive blocks. It has an amp block, which actually has 4 channels in it. There's a cab, with also 4 channels. There's an EQ. There's a tremolo block, a delay block, reverb, and output. So I have deemed this my Simple Dock Nashville preset. And you can see that I don't have any scenes created right now. So I might do that in a separate video. But for this particular video, I just want to go over the basic overview or the basic layout of what I have created here. Okay, in order to do that, we need to go to FC Edit. So this is exactly where you go to edit the layouts that we have available. And there are technically, what's 9 here? Layout 9 is the master layout menu used to access other layouts. You do not edit this layout unless you understand what it is, how it works, and what you are changing. Yeah, I don't want to do that. That's perfectly fine. So number 1, this shows you all your presets in, whatever, right? So you got a bank up and down, and you have 5 presets here. And then you also have a tap tempo / tuner. If you hold the tap tempo, it becomes a tuner. And then you can access your scenes within here. So if you, for example, if I click on Shiver Dock, then I click on scenes, it's going to take me over to those scenes. But let me do it on the foot switch here. So now I'm in the scenes view. Okay, and you can see it update here on the screen as well. So I got scenes 1 through 8, and then I have a special layout I can get to called Doctor. And let me click on that one. And now you can see I have scene 1 through 5, and then 6, 7 up here. And then I have a graphic EQ being used as a boost. Then I have a tap tempo with a tuner. I can bring in a control switch 1 on scene 5, which I don't think I have that assigned right now to anything. And apparently scene 6 and scene 7, I can turn on and off some overdrives within there, which is cool. And then scene 1, I can turn on a flanger. So you can literally make these layouts anything you want. If you want like 3 presets here, and then when you click on those presets, you see like 1, 2, 3 scenes across, the next 3 switches. And then across the top, maybe you wanted to have like a boost on and off, and a delay on and off, and a tap tempo and a tuner or something, right? So many different options that you could figure out on your own. Let's go back to 2 right fast. So this is the scenes view. Now, what I did, this is probably not the best way to do it, but what I did was I went to 3 because I like all the stomp box view, especially the stomp view, essentially. Okay. And I do have the air on right now, and it's hitting my back, and it feels great because I had the air off, and I forgot to turn it back on last time I left the studio. And when I came up here a few minutes ago, it was like, man, it's hot up here. So I just crank the air up, and it gets to blow on me every once in a while. So Nashville Heat, let me tell you, I could probably name this preset Nashville Heat, and everybody would just know what it means. So what I've done here is I just don't like the default layout of the stomp view. So what I've done is gone in and just chose all the main pedals that I would typically use in a preset. Okay. And that includes a compressor. That includes a drive 1, a drive 2, an amp channel AB switch, because I like being able to actually switch channels on the amp. Then I have a delay on off, which if I hold that, it also turns into a delay 1B, something like that. Then I have a tap tempo tuner. I have a tremolo pan, because I love, tremolo is really my main modulation effect. Then I have a EQ, which not really, it can be used for a boost, but sometimes when I'm recording, it's nice having the different tonality of like having the full mid-range kind of voice, and then you can turn on the EQ, and now you have more of a scoopy, cut 750 hertz kind of sound, going for like that mezzo boogie or just high gain type sound when they scoop the mids a little bit. So that's what that pedal's for. Now, then also, if you've seen other videos that are, the Nashville studio guys are showing off their pedal boards, everybody has an EQ on their board. Everybody has a few different drives. They typically have like an M9 or M5 or some kind of multi-effect on their board to get the simple like chorus, phase, flange, tremolo type stuff. And since there's really not a modulation effect block in the Fractal, it's not like I could say, okay, it'd be really cool if I could make this switch a tremolo, and then maybe hold it, and it now switches over to a whatever, right? Well, I guess I technically could do that, but I'd have to go down here, and the hold would have to go to effect, and then bypass, and then I'd have to go over to like what would I have to do if I want a phase? Where's my phase? Do I have a phase? Yeah, I do. There's my phaser. Okay. So now technically, if I hold this switch, okay. Yeah, and now it's doing the phaser thing, which is cool. Category effect, bypass, phaser. What's my other option here? Yeah, it'd be really cool if there was a modulation block instead of just having a tremolo and a whatever block. Then you could actually like set up modulation block, channel A, B, C, or D, and then assign those to be tremolo, phase, flange, chorus. And depending on which scene that you had in or that you called up, you could then, on this scene, I want a tremolo. On this scene, I want a phase. On this scene, I want a flange. On this scene, I want a chorus. It's just not available right now, but that gets the old noggin thinking. I think it's a cool idea. I'm gonna contact Fractal personally. Be like, look here now. This would be really cool if you could do this. So what I've done here, this is my just bread and butter stomp box, right? You could hand this Fractal to any studio musician or any live musician, and you can run the output straight into the front end of an amplifier as long as it's somewhat clean, and probably not use the amp channel A and B, but definitely use like the compressor, the drive 1, drive 2, the delay, The reverb is always on because it's just like a typical spring reverb type thing. And then we have tremolo and then EQ. Now, if I push on scenes, this takes me over to my scene view. Okay? Something was on my head. So the scenes view, I have not technically set up for this preset, but I'll do that in the next video. But just to show you what's happening here, I got scene 1 through 5, my tap tempo tuner, then my 6, 7, and 8. But if I hold on 8, it takes me back to my effects. So now I'm going to hold on 8 over here. And now you can see it update on the screen. So this is a great way to... Now I could technically do this. I mean, this might be neat. Let's try this here. I'm going to click on scenes. And I'm going to make this preset. Okay. What do I want to do? Select by number. No, I don't want to do that. Let's go to layout. And layout 1 is the presets layout. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So this really gives me a lot of flexibility here, as in I can be on my drive or on my stomp selection, right? I'm going to go ahead and save this because that's a really good idea. So I've saved it. I can long press on the scenes, and that's going to take me over to, actually that took me, oh, sorry. I don't need the long press. I'm going to do this. Okay, go back here. Okay, so that's updated. Okay, I kind of see what I've done here. I've messed up is what I've done. All right, so I'm going back to effects. All I need to do is just press. That goes into my scenes. And then if I hold, it goes back to my effects. And now let's say I want to change presets or change songs or something. Now I can actually hold on those presets. And this will take me into just the main 5 presets across the bottom. I could still have some tap tempo and whatever else. Now, depending on if I want to just use stomp mode more often than not, I could make this one switch to a different layout. I would want this to go to layout 3, which is my effects. Okay. Or I can have it hold. I can go straight to yes, I want that. I want to go straight to, not 3. I want to go straight to scenes. Okay. So I'm kind of swapping this up in real time here, but this is pretty good. Andrew Collins, what is in the house? He can't wait to get his FM9. Well, that's great. I'm actually trying to sell this FM9, just only because I really need to free up some cash. But I can always buy another one later down the road. But for now, I'm just having fun while I can. Okay. So what I've done here is in my preset view, I've now made it possible to go directly into my effects, or I can hold and go into my scenes by clicking on that. Okay. Now I don't want this to go to Doctor anymore. So let's change this out. And I want this to go to layout 3, which is my effects. And that's pretty good. And I'll go ahead and save that. Now, what is this Doctor layout that I keep talking about? So let's go to which one ever it is. It might be 8. Is it 8? Yeah, it is number 8. Okay. Now, technically, I could have made number 8 be my preset or my my stomp view type thing. I just literally just went into number 3 layout and just started editing because that's what I wanted to do. Even though Doctor could have been my custom effect layout, and I still could have went into my scenes view and still could have went into my preset view, all from the Doctor thing. So it's not a big deal. It is what it is. Well, let's go into scenes directly, which is technically now number 4. And what was number 5? Number 5 is the looper per preset FC6 Doctor. This one is technically more effects, but I actually made it because I didn't need that many effects. I made this one be my scenes option, even though number 2 is technically the scenes option. Okay, so if you're doing this at home and you're trying to follow along, and you're like, wow, you did a whole lot of stuff you probably didn't need to do, but I was just having fun. So for me personally, I made number 3 my effects layout, and then number 4, which was more effects, but then I changed it to my scenes, though I should have just went to this scenes over here. It is what it is. I could probably change it pretty fast. Not too bad. I'd have to go and make scene 6. I'd have to make this be over here. See how I just swap those? And then for this effects, I would need this to be utility. And then it would need to be tap tempo. Okay. And then for this one, it can also be utility. And this one is going to be tuner. Okay. So I technically did, very similar things here. And what do I have here? I have a hold function going back to effects. Okay. So let's go to here. Let me just compare real fast. Okay, I think the colors are slightly different, but that's fine. I'm going to click on this and then go to layout, select, and make this one layout 3. Okay, so now it says effects there. I'll go ahead and save that. Now, as of right now, we have a few different options we can choose from. Okay, so I'm going to hold on scene 8, and that's going to take me back to layout number 3, which is my effects. And there's all my favorite effects right there. I did have these actually named, but I just figured for more compatibility across multiple different presets, I just made them drive 1 and drive 2. But I can make the amp channel be whatever and all that whatever. So all that said, let's stop talking. Okay, let's play some sounds. So this is the clean. Okay, make sure my tone is turned up. Okay, I can turn off my delay. Okay, I have chosen to have on channel A, deluxe verb vibrato. Okay, now channel B goes to the AC20 EF86 bass. So I was trying to think of, I actually asked a few different engineers here in Nashville, studio engineers, and what kind of amps do you typically see coming to the studio? And really it's all over the place. I mean, people show up with anything and everything, but I was like, well, typically you're going to see some kind of Fender amp, like a deluxe reverb, a Princeton, a Twin, something like that. And then for any kind of overdrive stuff, you might find a Friedman, you might find a old classic non-master volume Marshall. But just for in this case, I chose the Morgan AC20. So it kind of gives you that Voxy kind of option, but does it the way Morgan likes to do it. So Okay, Andrew Collins asks, is that the Mark II turbo? Yes, it is. It's the Mark II with the nice big, with the slightly bigger screens. And this one actually comes with Gear by Seba shields over it, which is pretty nice. So I think I've shown that in previous videos. You've typically seen it over here on my little side desk type thing. So what is on drive number 1? That is, drive number 1 is, what is drive number 1? I'll probably go back to here. Okay, so you've seen the layout at this point. Okay, now I have updated this to the public beta. I think beta 10. So on drive 1, I have the Guardian Photon Speed. So this is the Greer Light Speed Overdrive, and it's pretty good. So here's once again, here's a clean tone. Clean-ish, and then you kick on the light speed. All right, cool. Now, channel B, if I hold on this, it goes over to the classic valve screamer, or just the tube screamer. Okay, so. Okay, and I think that sounds great. Now, going over to the drive 2, this one has the Nobles ODR. So just a great Nashville, it's not a Nashville overdrive, but you know, it's one highly sought after here in Nashville. Everybody and their grandma uses it, right? So here it is. All right, very cool. Now, if I hold, this is going to give us the Angry Chuck, which is the JHS Angry Charlie. This is only in the beta. This is not public just yet. So if you want to go download the beta, if you have a Fractal unit, you can go try these out for yourself. So the Angry Charlie. All right, so I really think for those guys that come in and, you know, they might have like a Fender, they might have a Marshall, they might have a Friedman, whatever. I mean, just these 4 overdrives alone gives you so many tonal options, especially for a recording. Because usually producers like, all right, give me a clean pass. All right, give me something slightly dirtier so you can kick on like the light speed or the whatever, right? Then, all right, give me a good lead sound with some delay. You can access all these things really, really quickly and not have to, you know, dive around and muck around with stuff. So I think if you, you know, the Angry Charlie is a great option for that Marshall-y. I mean, it is a Marshall in a box type design anyway. So it's like the JCM 800 type thing. So. Then I kick in the tube screamer. And then the delay. All right, so there you go. Andrew, this is the public beta, okay? So it's not officially out yet. That's why you can see up here in the top corner, it says firmware 10 beta. A lot of people don't like betas because, you know, they're out touring and whatever else, and, you know, what if something in the beta is bad and it messes up your device or something. But I typically don't have any issues with beta software, and they make it public for a reason, so you can get early access to whatever. I think this is officially in the AxeFX 3 unit, but as far as the FM9 and the FM3, we just have to download the beta options in order to you know, try things out. So with all that said, let's check out a little tremolo action. Yeah. I don't know. I may not be selling this thing after all. It's really good. It really is the most flexible out of all the units as far as like tones, as far as what you can do, make each foot switch do whatever you want. It's pretty insane. I just love having the different layout options. That's really one thing that the headrush is missing. You can choose between different views, but you can't really get to them that easy. And being able to have a little bit more option in that regard would be really cool. So basically on the headrush, you can choose a preset. Let me go ahead and turn this on. Let me see what happens here. You can turn on a preset or choose a rig essentially. And then from there, you have to either choose stomp view or rig view. Okay. And in stomp view, you can do a combination of like stomps and scenes, but it's not like the Fractal where you actually have independent layouts that you can dive into. So I want to see only presets right now. I only want to see my stomps. I only want to see my scenes, right? The Helix is actually probably second in line to that. You can see presets, then go to your stomp view, and then go into scene view. That is an option. The ToneMaster Pro, you're limited in the same way that the headrush is. You can really only see presets or stomp view or foot switch. You're changing the foot switch mode. And from there, you have to decide how you want to lay out your 8 foot switches, either in summon stomps, summon scenes, half and half, 2 3/4, you know, whatever it is. So if the ToneMaster Pro had that extra flexibility to see presets, scenes, and stomps, that would be pretty cool. Even though the ToneMaster Pro has 10 foot switches, the Fractal only has 9, hence the FM9, but it is ultimately way more flexible than all the other ones. And then the headrush actually has 12, but you can't do half of what you can do on the Fractal. And the Fractal has true gapless switching between presets, drive and amp channels, and everything else. So just totally gapless. Everything's gapless. And that is why, my friends, that Fractal is the king of all the maulers. It really is. As far as the tones, the flexibility, and the ruggedness that you can use it day in, day out, either in the studio or on the road. And, you know, it is a little bit long, so it's not as easy as just throwing it in a backpack. You kind of have to put it in like its own case. And then if you're flying or something, you know, hopefully you can put it in like an overhead bin and then just check your luggage or whatever you're doing. But if you're typically traveling in a van or like a Sprinter van or a bus or whatever, yeah, you can definitely fit an FM9 wherever you're traveling, along with your guitar, along with your suitcase, whatever. With me, I just play at church and I play here in the studio, so the size factor is not that big of a deal to me. I know other players like Steve Serlacci and everybody else out there that actually like tours. I'm not a touring guy anymore, so they're all very conscious about the size of their mauler and how easy it is to pack away and not take up tons of space, because they are typically flying to Europe and flying here, there, and everywhere. So it is what it is. So that is really the end of this video. I just wanted to show the flexibility of the layout options on the Fractal. I can stay on for a few more minutes and ask a few or answer a few questions if anybody is interested in the Fractal stuff and what it can provide for you and your guitar tones. So, and I really wish that I did more stuff, because this is really all I need right here. I mean, I love having that tube screamer in there. Right, so here's an example. So if I go over to channel B, then turn on the EQ. Let me just show you here. Okay, so you can hear that the tone of the EQ, I'm cutting that 750 right there, but I can also bring up the level just a little bit. So maybe 2 dB or so. Now go ahead and save that. This will be a preset I will have available on my website. So all the Fractal presets are just a one-time $20 fee, and I'm trying to build them up to where I have about 20 or 30 of them ready to go. That way they'll just kind of sit there, and until I'm ready in the future to make more presets, maybe either based on songs or different bands or whatever else. But just trying to make some just good all-around presets that I think everybody would like. And you kind of get my brain, or not my brain, but my thought process of like how I approach building presets in general, regardless if it's on a Fractal or a Tonemaster Pro or Headrush or Helix or whatever else. So let's check this out again. So once again, this is the EQ off. Okay, so you can hear that I did raise the level up about 2 dB, so it didn't lose the girth. Okay, going back to channel 1 and then turning on the Angry Charlie. Yeah, so there you go. There's the power of EQ. If you don't like the sound of your rig, then add an EQ and start tweaking, because you will find a sound that you like, whether that's drastic or it can be just like a little nuance of a change. But EQ is the thing that makes you sound professional over just putting in a bunch of stuff and then hoping it sounds good, right? Being able to shape the sound with the low end, the mids, with the highs, everything. That's why every studio board you see in Nashville or around in California or New York or anybody in a studio, they are going to have an EQ, because there will be times when you need to cut mids, you need to boost mids, you need to do this or that depending on the guitar and the pickups and the amplifier that you're playing through. And you could take a Fender reverb or a deluxe reverb, and you can make it sound like a Marshall just by giving it more mids. You could take a Marshall and make it sound more like a Fender just by cutting some mids. You can make it sound like a Mesa Boogie. You can take any amp on the market and make it sound any way you want just by adding an EQ. So if you don't learn anything about in this video, take that to heart. Get yourself an EQ, or dial one in on your modeler of choice and start playing around with it. Start learning what the EQ does to your sound, whether it's pre-amplifier and post-amplifier. Okay? So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm kind of working my way toward 18,000 subscribers at this point. But honestly, the more people I can help, that's way more important than actual subscribers. I will have a link to my Discord server down in the description of this video. It's just a place where we can talk about gear, essentially. So I have categories for guitars, amps, pedals, pedal boards, live shows near you, videos that you've seen recently that you want to share with the group, whatever else. It's just a place for us to go hang out and not have to be on Facebook and not have to be on Instagram and whatever else. It's my personal Doctor McFarland Studios Discord server, and you can just hop on there, join, and then ask any questions that you have in that server. Okay, so thanks everyone for watching. I am Doctor McFarland. Yes, I am, and I will see you in the next video. I'm trying to find the outro thing here. So, there we go. Here we go. See ya.